Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second instalment of SLR's Hot Lap series. This week, we're at Imola, also known as the Autodrome Enzo e Dino Ferrari, and we have our resident Italian stallion at the wheel for this one as well. So welcome Crystals as he comes down the main straight, which is not that straight, albeit. Into Tamburello, we are going to go first of all. He wants to be braking just after the curb on the right-hand side, carry as much speed as he can, just clipping each of these curbs. He does that beautifully there, uses all of the track. A little snap of oversteer there, but he handles it nicely down into Villeneuve chicane. Want to carry as much speed as he can around this left-hander, but keep it to the left-hand side to open up the right-hander. Beautifully done there. Braking just after the 50-metre board, taking a late apex here into Tosa and down into Piratella. This next one, got a slight right-hander beforehand, which is flat out, and then you've got the left-hander, which you've got to be very fast in. You've got to carry a lot of speed here, be committed, take as much curve on the inside as you can, and down into the very, very tricky Aqua Minerale. Flat out round this right-hander, and then braking hard, but carry more speed than you think you can round Aqua Minerale there, and get a great exit there. Doesn't use all of the track, but I'm not sure that's faster. Down into the last chicane, Alta, and it takes all of the curb on the inside for the first one to get a good exit on the second one there. Brilliantly done. Down into Ravazza 1 we go now, using all of the track once more, braking just after this blackboard on the right hand side and carrying as lot of speed there into the first part, and just a little lift there on the second part. You've got to be very aggressive in Ravazza to get a good lap time, and it's a 1:14.848 from our Italian stallion.
Good evening and welcome, my fellow sim racers. We are in Imola for SLR's Season 9 Tier 1, second race of the calendar at Imola, yeah, so in Italy. We've had a number of races here already this week in Tier 2 and Tier 3. With me tonight in the commentary booth is Boosted Mess. Welcome, Boosted.
Yep, good evening everybody. Hope you're all strapped in and ready for a good one. Last week was quite an eye-opener in Bahrain. Top 6, of course, finishing the race. There was almost a second, well, less than a second between the top 6, and it lasted like that for the majority of the race. So, yeah, I'm really pumped for this one.
Yeah, should be another exciting instalment in Tier 1. We've got a lot of very good drivers here this season, and we've got people going around doing their outlaps at the moment. We've got Bailey Thompson making his first appearance in Tier 1 this year as well. He's going to be starting us off, but as you can see there from your screens, a very, very tight championship so far. Makenda sneaking the win last time out with a brilliant strategy called getting the undercut. That's all it took as well. It was just the undercut to give him a second or two advantage to get to the end. But even then, it was very, very tight. But one more lap, and it could have been just in that race's dream start to the season. But as it stands, it was Makenda. But yeah, looking forward to what should be an absolute fantastic season in Tier 1. It's going to be very competitive, very competitive. But Bailey is taking us out for the first lap as he comes down into Tamburello. We're going to start to get an idea once he finishes the lap of what kind of times we might be looking at. Bailey in the Red Bull, looking clean through the first couple of corners. Yeah.
It's just occurred to me, off air before we went live, we were trying to figure out who we're missing from today's race. It must be Justin.
It is, in fact, Justin. You're right. I wonder if he's on holiday.
So, no Justin this week, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that won't cost him too much. I think I've got a feeling that the tightness of this Tier 1, anybody who misses a race could pay for that come the end kind of thing. And with summer holidays and everybody wanting to go on their jollies, it could prove costly. Sturdy slackers, all of them. I don't know why they need a holiday. I haven't had a holiday in 10 years. Back in my day, we would just, go to the beach and be happy with an orange and an ice cream, and that would be that. Bah humbug.
So Bailey going to set the initial time now, so we'll see what the first pace is going to be, a 1:15.2. Solid bank lap.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I expect to see some high 14s or low 14s, as the case may be, from these guys. But that is, it's like he's never been away, Bailey. But 16.2 there from Hoodham. So we'll have a look and see who else we can find crossing the line. We've got Fox, and it looks maybe a Williams. Fox is invalidated, unfortunately. We have got Pemi coming around the final corner as well, and Ravazza. We've got a car off the track at the moment there as well. Maybe just trying to get out of people's ways on their hot laps. There, but Pemi 15.9. So looking very good so far from Bailey. He has used his time off very well.
Yeah, it's a very solid lap from him. Quite a bit up the field so far. Of course, there's only 4 drivers completed a lap so far, but 5 now as Icewind puts himself into P3 with a 116 flat.
Certainly does, yeah. We're going to see sometimes trickle in as time goes on, kind of thing, and we'll keep an eye on certain drivers. Got Meepo currently on a lap at the moment with a Red Bull dodging out of his way and the Ferrari behind him as well. Meepo had a race yesterday in Tier 2 and everything was going so swimmingly for him until he got involved in a bit of contact that maybe he didn't need to get too involved with. Maybe he should have backed out of it, kind of thing, but FIA may not see it that way. Well, it remains to be seen. But he'll be looking hopefully for a better race today as he comes down into Aqua Minerale. Now, we did see a lot of spins in Tier 2 as well yesterday in the dry, and I imagine we saw even more in Tier 3 where you were racing, where I couldn't make it. But
it wasn't actually that bad, believe it or not.
Wasn't that
Strangely
bad?
enough. Yeah, it was a wet race, the whole race, and but I don't recall any major spins. The racing was actually surprisingly clean. We'll say, which is rich coming from me because I actually had 1 spin late in the race, but yeah, no, it was pretty clean. There wasn't actually that much in the way of DNFs, or not that I remember anyway.
I'm just messing with some audio settings here, so bear with me. I think that's just a tad too loud. We'll go down a click. But yeah, just upping the engines. More vroom vroom, says Ocean Chief. So we've got a number of people in the chat at the moment. Welcome to Kiko, who's battling hard in the T2 Championship, but things didn't go his way yesterday. But yeah, hopefully we've got some couple of predictions here. Ocean Chief thinks Danny will win. Kiko thinks Lawrence will win. A late rain forecast for the race as well. So things could get interesting with the strategy. How many people are going to try and get to that rain on a set of hards from the start of the race? How many people are going to go for the mediums or the softs to start with and gain some positions out of that? And how much is it going to rain as well is the other question.
How accurate is the forecast as well? In Tier 3 we had a lot of confusion where the entire race was wet, and a lot of guys, myself included, were on a dry setup because of the weather forecast during qualifying, whereby you have the main 2 tiles which give you a generalization of what the weather's going to be like, and for quali it said dry, and for the race it said rain. And then when you expanded the race weather and you have all the time markings, I can't remember if it was the first one or none at all, but there was rain basically at the very, very start, and then the rest was all sun for the whole race. So everybody near enough went on dry setups, and then the entire race turned out to be proper full wets, not even close to intermediates for the whole race.
Yeah, so as always, the weather model not always as predictable as the weatherman thinks. Swear they've just Michael Fish. He's still alive and well, and he's doing the weather for F1 games. To be fair. Crystal's then on a lap. This guy was rapid in Bahrain. He was keeping up with the top guys, and maybe if he got the strategy correct, like McKenna and Justin did, he might have ended up on the podium. But did extremely well to keep up with the top guys. It's interesting to see the times that are coming in here. RK Lawrence with a 33.7. Something's gone wrong for him there, I think. You would expect him to do better from that. McKenna, Fox, Loff, Crystals. Oh, Crystals has gone very wide there in I've forgotten the name of that corner. Piscatella? Can't remember. Piscatella's the guy off Orange is the New Black, I think. But yeah, some of the corner names hard to remember around here. But
just keeping one eye on Bailey as he makes his way around another hot lap and over the DRS line.
Crystal has...
and he goes faster, he improves by a 10th.
Yeah, not bad from Bailey.
15-1.
Crystals has invalidated his lap as well, so we'll switch over to the Haas in the background, which is Wow, who was one of those quick guys as well, but maybe he fell off that train a little bit, kind of thing, because we did have those top 6 in Bahrain, and then a stream of other people behind. But it looks as though we're going to have things mixed up a little bit here. Daisy in P6 at the moment. Wow gets himself into P2 with a 115.7. And at the moment, Bailey is looking rapid. But I do imagine that some of these guys are going to be able to do 14s. We haven't had a lap from Danny yet. We haven't had a lap from Crystals yet, or Makenda. And I think all of these guys are going to maybe be looking at maybe a 14.7. Something like that might be the pole time, just if I wanted to bet on that, if I was a gambling man. See if we can find anybody
definitely
else.
A high 14 is definitely achievable in this tier.
Makenda starts it, well, finishes his lap, he gets a 1:15.4. Danny also with a 1:15.4, setting it right after. So brilliant laps from them, but still a long way to go to Bailey, who is laying down the gauntlet at the moment. A 15.1, oof, says Kiko. So yeah, Kiko absolutely dominated qualifying in tier 2 yesterday, and then with I think it was a 15.5, 15.6 I think it was Kiko got yesterday. A rapid time, but a number of these guys showing at tier 1 is the pinnacle. See if we can find somebody else on a lap at the moment.
Yeah, Lawrence just making his way through sector 1. Did encounter a little bit of traffic on this hot lap. He makes his way up the hill.
I think we might have a Daisy who's no, I think he's on an out lap, starting his lap maybe, because he's got a lot of ERS. Behind him maybe is Speedy, who gets a big snap there on the exit, and I think he's just coming into the pits, so that's not a lap either. So it might be in no man's land at the moment, but some people might just pop a time in here and there. Looks like Hoodham coming into the pits, everybody's coming into the pits as that lap's done, essentially. It's a little bit of a break.
Still a bit of traffic here now. Lawrence making his way around the final corner. Let's see if this is going to be a representative time now then.
Icewind has managed to get himself up to P2 there with a 1:15.4 as well. The man who has been complaining about the pace in this game since we got it, essentially, is currently sitting very pretty in the top 2. Beating his teammate Makenda for the time being. But yeah, so
Lawrence into P8 there, just slots in behind Wow with a very, very close time. So you'll probably be a bit disappointed with that, I'd imagine. I would have expected him to be a little bit higher up than that. So I wonder if he maybe ran wide somewhere.
Chief says, meanwhile, in tier 3, I can just about get into the 16s. And I'd be lucky to get a 16, Chief, to be honest. Never mind just about get into them. I'd be lucky, sometimes I'm lucky to get a 17.
To put it in perspective, I think I came in qualified P6 with a 16.6 or 16.7 yesterday. So yeah, these guys were more than a second faster than that kind of time scale. So it shows you how these guys are just in a different league.
Yeah, I mean, I was racing with these guys in the last season we had in tier 1 in F1 2021, and my average time off pole was 2.499 seconds. And honestly, I very rarely got in. I don't think I ever got into the top 10 on qualifying. Even when there was only 15 drivers, still couldn't get into the top 10. So these guys are absolutely rapid, and as the kind of word spreads that the game is good and the handling model is good, we're seeing more and more of the top guys coming back and giving it a go. And yeah, we've got a great field today with Hugo and Bailey joining from last week. We're obviously missing a couple of people from last week as well, but look at this. I mean, Copy in P13. Did anybody expect to see that? I mean, maybe he hasn't got a solid lap in yet. Crystal's at the moment in P19. He is out on track. Looks like he's going to start a lap now. Hasn't managed to put in a valid lap yet, but we'll follow on board now with him and see how he does as we get on board. It's very loud.
P5. He jumps into P5.
Yeah, so finally did get that lap in, and a 15.4. I get the feeling though that there is a lot more time to be had here. I don't know if it's just the track conditions or maybe it's because it's a little bit cloudy or something like that, but I was expecting a lot of these guys to make it into the 14s, and not a lot of them have managed that. Maybe they're just not pushing that hard. Maybe they're saving it, or they need the track to ramp up a bit.
That's it, track evolution is a very big thing here, so I would still expect to see a 14 or 2 popping in soon. It's interesting to see, with the exception of Bailey, who's currently got, well, 3/10 on Icewind. But once again at the top, it's incredibly close. I mean, the top second down to fifth are all within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, following on
So,
board,
this
yeah,
is
with Danny,
going to be a
who's on
repeat at Bahrain, I hope.
fingers crossed, yeah. I mean, get the feeling that these guys are very evenly matched all the way throughout the grid kind of thing. We're looking at, 7/10 separating the top 10 at the moment, like you say. So it's going to be tight in the race for sure, and it's very difficult to overtake here as well. But Danny on a flyer at the moment, looking to get that. Ooh, I would expect that to be invalidated there. He was over the white lines, but he's managed to keep it valid, maybe just by lifting. That corner, that left-hander, just before Aquaman O'Reilly, very tricky to get right. You've got to commit and carry a lot of speed there. If you get it wrong, it can bite your head off, but a good line there through the final chicane. Variante Alta. And into Ravazza 1 he goes. Let's see what we've got. So 105 coming into that final corner there. And he's committed on the final there. He's run out of ERS though, and he's coming into the pit, so looks to go for another lap maybe. Not sure if we've got time for another lap, but wow, gets a 1:15.1 to match Bailey Thompson, but not overtake him. Gets himself up into P2, so I get the feeling, yeah, a number of these guys, this is last chance saloon for a number of these guys. They need a good lap now or never.
The last few minutes now as they're counting down, so if you want to get one more lap in, now's the time to get out on track.
Got Fox coming around the final corner. He hasn't put in a blistering time yet, and as he comes down the final straight now, keeping it all the way to the right hand side, hugging that wall, and improves to a 15.9, but that only good enough for P12. Not what he wanted. Copy in the final corner now as well. He's coming round. Let's see, he would expect to have been higher up the grid than he is at the moment. Let's see where he can put his car up to P11 with a 15.8, but a number of guys struggling here. We've got a Zyken coming around the... no, that's not a Zyken, that is Wow final coming in. So who else have we got? We've got RK Lawrence in the final corner, and then we're closely followed by the two Ferraris. RK Lawrence set a 15.5. Expect more from him. McKenda just starting his lap by the looks of things, or he's going for a second one, and Icewind as well did not improve, so maybe going for a second lap as well. Not sure on that, but let's see. We've already got one lap on those tyres, but as we've mentioned previously with the new rules, Bailey also starting a new lap. But as we mentioned previously though, with the new rules that yeah, you don't need to start on the current tyres, so
quite a tight pack of cars coming around the final corner now to go into hot laps, so this is going to be quite frantic for those drivers.
certainly
Lots of traffic now as everyone's trying to get the last few laps in.
Yeah, and I cannot see the time because of the yellow flag, so 50 seconds remaining. They should all get laps in. RC Papa on his outlap at the moment is going to be the last to cross the line. So who's going to be the first to cross the line? Looks like it's going to be a blue car of one description or another. It is Danny who is going to cross the line first. He's got 100% ERS, so he's starting a lap, I think, at the moment. So it's going to be McKenda is going to be the first to cross and set a lap in anger. Let's see what he can do and where he can put that Ferrari. I think it looks like he's backed out of it, I think. Yeah, I think he's backed out of that and stopped. So Icewind coming at the pits as well, backed out of his. Bit of an anticlimax there, but Pemi stopping there. We've got a couple of Red Bulls coming around the final corners. One of them is Bailey, who's going to be looking to secure his P1 at the moment. Let's see what kind of time he can set as he comes across the line. And he's not improved. He's 1.5 tenths up on his time, so not good for him. RK Lawrence was behind him, and it doesn't look like he set his best time either. But P7 for RK Lawrence. Tough grid. Tough grid. So we're going to have
a spin for Tenari as well, coming off the chicane there. Just a little bit too greedy on the curbs.
Hugo puts it P3, and then immediately his teammate takes it off him and puts the car P3 as well. Crystals with a 115.2, and that we have red flag, we have checkered flags now as well. So this is going to be our grid. Bailey Thompson with an absolute fantastic return. McKenda not on a lap at the moment. Danny coming around the final corner might be the only person who can challenge these guys at the top, and he's lost it. He's lost it, and he's into the wall, and that is session over for Danny. He starts P7. And a couple of donuts there as he's struggling to get those hot tires. Smashes into the wall. That is uber frustration there as he's struggling. He's not going to go into the pits if I look at things either. Probably have to retire on track, but yeah, there he goes, sideways once more. But yeah, we all thought Iceman was slow, Larson. He sandbagged us all into believing that, and then he's come out swinging this time. But yeah, what a qualifying session we've got there. Bailey came out swinging very early on, got the knockout blow with a 1-2, with a 1:15.2, which would have been pretty good, and then he went and bettered it. Yeah.
Look at the gap on the top 3. That's insane.
All of those guys are really quick, yeah. But I mean, the 2/10 gap that you've got there, or the 10th gap that you've got there between 3 and 4 is belie. It's a bit of a lie, really, isn't it? Because these guys behind, Danny Cole, Lawrence, Pemmy, Loft, Copy, Fox, a Daisy down in P14. These guys are all rapid as well. Maybe they just didn't get the kind of qualifying that they want. But this is going to make for a very interesting race, I think, because these guys are going to want to get through. There may be a few mistakes in the mix as well to help them out. Maybe a safety car. This is a track that's prone to a safety car. We've had a safety car in Tier 2. I think we had 2 safety cars in Tier 2 and a VSC. But look at that sky. It is murky, I would call that. Thick and clammy weather. Yeah.
We know we're going to get rain in this race, so at some point there's going to be a crossover between the 2 weather conditions. The question is going to be who's going to read that and judge that the best, and are we going to see any errors from those who perhaps risk it for an extra lap on dry tyres?
Yeah. That's the thing with the grid as tight as it is. We have everything's up in the air, really, and the grid being so tight, the strategy comes into play a lot more, and it's not just about being the fastest man on the grid. Sometimes it's just about getting the pit at the right time, and people who have a crew chief, yeah, might have an advantage here. Forecast says dry, rain, dry, so this is about to get moist, says Chief.
The timer to tick its way down.
Yeah.
Give everybody a chance to get loaded in. Manual formation lap, of course. That's interesting to see how people point their cars and give a bit of a clue as to what they tend to do on their opening lap.
Yeah, new feature in this game as well. So a few guys may not have ever practiced that. And I'm not sure how exactly it works in terms of tyre temps. I haven't done any testing yet, but you can't get disqualified if you overshoot your box.
Yep.
So if you do that and you overshoot it, I don't know how much of a disadvantage that gives you on the start. Definitely puts you a little, half a metre behind. But whether or not that affects your tyre temperatures and things, I do not know. Let's have a look at the tyres themselves. So the majority of people have gone for the mediums. Lawrence and a Daisy have both gone for softs. So they're looking to get some moves done in the early stages. And maybe they're hoping to get the softs to the wet weather. If the wet weather's wet enough, that is, to warrant changing onto the intermediates. Don't know how heavy the rain is going to be at this stage. If any crew chiefs can let us know about that. And as we said, it might not rain at all. Jeff and sometimes the weatherman's sometimes been a bit funny, but yeah, as the audio's been a bit funny, it seems a bit desync for me. But very odd noises coming from my headset at the moment with the cars zooming past that aren't zooming past, essentially.
Yeah, I think I'm getting that as well. Hopefully that sorts itself out for the race. Chief's giving us a quick update saying that we're going to get rain in 5 minutes. So it's going to get spicy. So I wonder if Lawrence and Adesi have played a bit of a trump card here by starting on the softs, because of course they're going to get the benefit of those faster compound tyres, and have used them up just in time for the rain starting, which is when you would expect to change onto intermediates. Oh, and somebody spins onto the start line there. That's speedy.
That is, are you sure it's not
nice
Meepo?
It's pirouette.
Meepo has done that in every race I've watched so far, but I cannot get a good camera angle for the start, so we're going to look this bump behind, as we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5, and we are green in Imola, and away we go with the worst camera angle you have ever seen in your life. It's not even
spin immediately. It's Wow's gone around immediately off the line.
Oh, contact there between the Aston Martins as well, and there's absolute havoc. Absolute havoc because of that contact there between the Aston Martins, but it looks like Crystals has gone and got the better of that. Stays in P3. Makenda up to P2 at the moment. And yeah, big contact there at the start, and that's caused absolute mayhem. Lawrence down a lot of positions there, and a Daisy up many positions. He's gone from P14 to P6 there in that opening lap. We are still green flagged, we are still racing, but what a start. And that is Papa, who has gone around there in Tosa, and will have to rejoin at the back of the grid. He started at the back of the grid, so he won't be too disheartened by that. There's still a long way to go as Lawrence makes a move around the outside of Zykin, who's also gained quite a lot of places there at the beginning. But what drama at the start. I apologise for the terrible camera angles at the start there. We didn't really catch much of that action, but I can only blame Codemasters for not letting me pick a camera angle. Absolutely terrible. Wow, gets past his teammate.
We avoided a safety car there. I have no idea.
I don't know either.
But
but
it's just an explosion of carbon fibre there on the start straight there.
Bailey though.
Look down the grid to see who's got damage. And it'll be interesting to see if anyone pits for wing damage. You can of course carry on driving with a bit of wing damage in this year's game.
Yeah, it does cost you a couple of tenths up to a second a lap, but it really depends on how well you drive with a different car. But Hugo down 12 positions, Icewind down 18. He's not come off very well in that start, and he's left the session out of frustration, I imagine. I don't know what's gone on there, but it's not to Icewind's liking by the looks of things. Unfortunate, very unfortunate, but well, remains to be seen what happens to the rest of the race. Maybe, hopefully, he'll rejoin, but I doubt it. I somehow doubt that. But Bailey leading the pack at the moment. Makenda up 4 positions. Crystals holds positions, and Danny Coe's gained 3, Pemi 4, Daisy and Tonari have gained big time and managed to keep their noses clean at the start there. Icewind's car is coming out of the pits as well, so I don't know if it's going to retire off the track or what, but remains to be seen.
Just a quick update on what I was saying. Copy has decided to stay out. He's missing his right end plate on his front wing, but is still racing.
Yeah, I mean, I think a number of drivers will choose that to do that because, yeah, the cars don't feel too bad with damage. Icewind has joined. Maybe that was part of the problem then. So maybe Icewind has just had a disconnect or a crash issue, and that's caused him to drop all the way at the back. Maybe he's very upset that the car pitted when he didn't maybe want it to. But if he's got some damage, he's got a lot of work to do now. But safety car could change things. We've got a move here from Danny on Crystals, and Crystals is around in the background. And yeah, he's gone off. I'm not sure what's happened there. Didn't catch that on board, but whether or not that was a move from Danny or whether or not it was just Crystals losing it remains to be seen. But more work for the Aston Martins to do. It's not gone their way. Speedy up into P6 as he gets past Tunari and Tosa, and looks like a clean move as well. Hoodim now all over the back of Tunari as well. Tunari not defending hard into that corner name that I cannot remember. Piscatella, I think. Piscabella. Can't remember its name, but very difficult to make moves in orthodox places here at Imola. So
just having another look down the just been working my way up through the grid. Adesi, another driver, missing an end plate on that front wing, deciding to stay out. So Copy and Adesi definitely with visible wing damage. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 others that have got a little bit of light green or off green damage as well, who perhaps decided to stay out. That was a hell of a lot of contact on the opening lap. It'll be interesting to see some of the onboards after the races. We've seen Alpha Tauri having a spin. Yeah.
Hoodim did manage to get past Tunari in that last sector there.
Oh, there's another spin. Sorry to cut you up there. That's Copy spinning around on the very last lap, corner there and into the wall.
That might be a little bit of rare wing damage there as well for him. And is he going to come into the pits? He's obviously missing a bit of front end plate already. He is going to come into the pits and get that repaired, but maybe he's got some wing damage. floor damage can be a big factor as well. But this race not going everybody's way so far, but big gainers so far are Pemi, Daisy and Hoodim, who are now well in the fight at the top there. Big gap between Makenda and Danny Coe, as Danny Coe makes his way through Aqua Minerali, trying to catch on at the back of those front 2 guys to try and put some pressure for the win. But anything can happen still. We've still got rain to come. It's been an exciting opening 4 laps.
Big slide from Bailey coming off the chicane, and that's allowed Makenda to close right up onto the back of him. But we're going to see a move here now coming into the last 2 corners of the lap.
I think it would be a mistake.
Behind him so far.
Yeah, it would be a mistake for Makenda to try and send it there. He wants to do it on the straight, and there's not really a better place to make a move than the straight. He's going to have DRS.
Bailey's got a full battery though. Bailey can defend this.
Yeah, let's get the...
He's not. That's interesting.
He's not, yeah. Bailey might just be playing the long game here. He might just want to follow. And with full battery, though, I would have expected him to have defended that. But maybe he just wants to get the place back next lap, essentially. But, yeah, battle for the win. Going to go on a while yet. 100% battery.
Sorry to cut you up again there. A couple other position changes going on further down the grid there. We've got Hoodham and Adesi having a right old ding-dong. Coming around the hairpin now. They're fighting for P5 at the minute. Been swapping positions back and forth. And Speedy's just joined onto the back of this as well. So this is going to become a three-way fight now. Further down, we've got Fox and Papa battling it out as well. We see Fox going on to intermediates. What?
Yeah.
There is rain falling.
Yeah, there is rain falling. Yeah. So that's an early call for the intermediate tyres. We did say 5 minutes. He's the first to go on to the intermediates. Let's see how they do. And keep an eye on the time. Meepo also early on the intermediates. Let's see.
This may be not such a bad idea because the rain appeared to come quite suddenly, didn't it? I mean, it didn't feel there was much of a warning. There's somebody else around on the last corner there now.
I mean, at the moment, let's have a look. I'm on board with Icewind at the moment, who's still on he's on soft tyres after the AI pitted for him, and he looks a lot faster than Fox at the moment. DNF from Copy. Not sure where that is. Is that on track? It doesn't look like it's on track.
I think that was in the pits, as we see the entire grid pitting. So we're seeing double stacks as well in some cases.
Crystal's also left the session as well, so something's going on here that we maybe don't know about. Crystal's leaving the session, and that is in the pits as well. That's unusual.
Oh, there's cars stopped in the pits. I don't know if you can see that. There's cars queuing in the pits and stationary. It's a busy pit lane.
Yeah, I think that might be to do with the cars, people DNFing in the pits. Like, you DNF in the pits, the car comes out of its pit box and then just stops dead in the middle of the pits, and it pulls people up. I had that happen to me in a practice session earlier, but the rain is coming down quite quick. It's already looking very greasy out there, so the intermediates is the call. Danny inherits the lead, however. I'm not sure what's gone on there, to be honest. I have to apologise that I wasn't looking at the pits, but I did not expect that to happen. I was too busy focusing on whether or not the softs were faster. Icewind is now into the pits for the intermediate change as well. Did not gain big, but Danico inherits the lead. Bailey down to P3. McKenda P2.
Have we got a safety car? Or is this just yellow? Yeah, we have. We've got a safety car.
When
did that happen?
I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea.
I have a yellow flag warning on my screen. There's nothing about a safety car.
Yeah, I've only just noticed that myself when I saw the safety car in front of Danny, and I thought to myself, is that really the safety car? I apologise, we should be really more on the ball than that, but yeah, what is going on? Did somebody crash on the track? I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing the stationary car.
We saw Copy spinning, the melee in the pit lane, and then Copy spinning off the final corner before deciding to pit and DNF in the pit. But that shouldn't have warranted a safety car, I wouldn't have thought. I don't think there was any contact. All he did was spin. Crystals, of course, DNF'd. I'm not entirely sure where, I'll be honest. I was too busy watching
I thought he DNF'd in the pits, because I didn't see an Aston Martin on the track anywhere. So I saw a big gaggle of cars in the pits, so I assumed he was in the pits as well. And then he DNF'd in the pits, maybe because of an issue, maybe because it put him on mediums or the wrong tyres or something like that.
Chief just setting us right there and saying that it was indeed Crystals that caused the safety car.
He was having screen freezes.
Yeah, so technical problems there, unfortunately, for Crystals. This is going to play well into the hands of people like Icewind then, who lost out at the very start of this race, and gives them almost a second chance here.
Certainly does. I mean, he's got work to do. Still, he's at the very back of the grid. He didn't get the chance to pit for the intermediates at the same time as Fox and Meepo, but
that means warm tyres,
of course. Papa in the pits as well. So maybe a wing change coming up for Papa as well, as he's going on to another set of intermediates. It's just stopped. For whatever reason, has he got a penalty to serve? It looks like it might be, yeah.
Yes, he did, of course. He had that speeding penalty, didn't he?
Interesting
that he was allowed to serve that under the yellow flag.
Yeah,
though.
I was going to say, I was interested that you can serve a penalty under the safety car, but yeah, that maybe means another lap under the safety car on top of this one, because he might not be able to catch up to the back of the field. But yeah, this has played it massively into Danico's hands as well, who now has track position. He's got obviously McKenda and Bailey both behind him, but Danico. Chief, I am raging so much, says Copy. Loft said he had contact with you. So there has been some contact, some issues there that we've missed. It's hard to keep on top of everything that goes on in a race with 20
it's-
drivers, but 19
This has
drivers.
been crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean,
7 laps in, and it's so much has been going. You don't know where to look.
that first lap, I mean, we've forgotten all about that. That first lap carnage. I'm surprised that didn't cause a safety car in itself. But yeah, we're going to have probably another lap under the safety car for these guys to get these...
Copy confirming what you suggested earlier on there about rear wing damage, and was then unable to carry on in a safe and competitive manner.
Yeah, rear wing damage seems to be a lot more of a problem than front wing damage, especially at a track like this where you really need the downforce on the car. RK Lawrence was telling us the other day that he had some floor damage in Tier 2 yesterday, and it wasn't too bad. It just felt as though he was lacking some downforce, but I think that's might be a personal preference thing as well. It depends on how much damage you get as well, because obviously if you get a red rear wing, that could be a lot worse than maybe just some orange floor. But yeah, that is unfortunate for Copy indeed. Very unfortunate for Copy and Crystal's. Crystal's having more issues with screen freezes again this week. He had that similar issue last week as well. He was able to continue, but maybe it caused too many problems this time with the close racing. And yeah, it's unfortunate.
Been a few people have complained about the screen freezes. I think it's been since the patch. There was a patch released on Monday, which was to adjust or tweak the performance of the cars. I remember that after downloading that patch, the entirety of Monday night, I was suffering with screen stutters, I'll call them. Not so much freezes. It would just kind of hang up for maybe a split second or so, which is of course incredibly off-putting when you're mid-corner or something like that. And that carried on until the next day, but seems to have calmed down over the week now. So yeah, interesting to see that some guys are still suffering with that since the patch was released. I wonder if we're going to see another patch to remedy that.
Most likely. I mean, this is sometimes the nature of league racing at times with the new game, and trying to get the league started as early as possible so we can maybe get a few more in. But we have got safety car in this lap. Danny Coe is going to become the safety car as he starts to back everybody up and looking to get a good start. I don't know what's going on with the camera angles in Cody's, but why am I looking at the chicane that they've all just been through? Like, I want to see the car that I'm focused on, not the chicane it's just been through. Danny Coe backing up nice and early. I imagine he's not going to do anything too fancy here. He's just going to try and get a nice clean restart and get it done nice and safely, as the safety car is now into the pit lane. It can go at any point from now. His safety car has crossed the finish line and Danny Coe has gone. He is gone, so looks to go a good getaway, and Bailey is already all the way alongside Makenda and looking to fight him into turn one. This is great news for Danny Coe as Bailey gets that position, and again a horrible camera angle for that moment, but Bailey gets the position, gets McKenna napping, and Bailey, Danny is off the track.
Wide,
Danny went off the track there, cut the track entirely, meaning Bailey gets onto the back of him, but he holds onto the position for now. He's almost certainly, we've got his icon in the background there, yellow flag for him, but that means all of the advantage that Danny Coe had from that brilliant restart there is gone, and he's struggling. Bailey is all over the back of him. Great shot here, finally. For this with a
three-way fight coming up the hill now. Hoodim, Speedy, and Tonari by the look of it.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch that. It doesn't look like we can. Cameras are so hard to get on this game. But yeah, looks like they've all kind of fallen into line here. Nobody wants to go too wide through Ackerman and Raleigh. That would be a big no-no. A bit of a snap there from Speedy, allowing Tonari to maybe get a run down into the chicane. It looks like Tonari's going for it as well and gets it by the looks of things. And Lawrence falling down the pecking order as well. Was it Lawrence who got a bad run out there maybe? But yeah, one mistake here causes absolute havoc, as the concertina effect is so strong at this track. Got a number of drivers kind of struggling on this first lap. Maybe they didn't get the tyres warmed up enough. Maybe struggling to get them warmed
up. Bailey manages to get in front of Danny. It's now a two-man fight and start-finish. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3, but yeah, Danny chasing Bailey to try and get that position back.
Looks like Fox has gone around in the final corner. I imagine that's maybe some contact, maybe a little love tap up the rear, but Bailey wasting no time in this restart to kind of show, look, I am the wet weather master. Get out of my way. I want to create a gap. Makenda is now all over the back of Danny Coe as well. Danny Coe really struggling in these conditions. Not going well. He had the jump as well. RK Lawrence gets past Speedy. And yeah, lots of wiggles going on in the background there. And a move here, by the looks of things, from a Daisy on Speedy as well. Looking to go around the outside. There's contact, but it looks clean enough. Just a bit of a bump. Just to say, nudge, nudge, I'm here. Elbows out. Daisy does not seem to be able to get the position from Speedy just yet, but trying hard. RK Lawrence getting a gap there. Meepo and Papa also fighting in the background as well, as Meepo gets that move done. Icewind up a few positions into P13, looking to get moves done. Zyton getting past Papa now as well. Papa struggling on in these conditions. Wondering if maybe there's a bit of damage there.
He's had a bit of a spin there, and it looks like he's got front wing damage as Hugo picks up a time penalty.
So does
Wow. Yeah.
So does Wow, and they are fighting side by side. So I'm wondering if they're pushing each other wide. As Hoodham and Tonari going side by side. Pemi in the mix and that one as well. And looks like McKenda less than a tenth off the back of Danico. Looks like he's going to try and maybe get a move done here down into turn one. He's not boosting, but Danico.
Hoodham's going around the outside of Pemi into turn one. Is he going to make that stick? He's of course going to have the inside line for the next corner now. They're still side by side through turn 2 and into turn 3. Pemi defending that position.
Very well, you have to say. Bravery from both of them to keep their noses in it there. But brilliant stuff. Daisy Loft and Tonari has dropped a couple of positions there as well. Maybe one bad exit, and he's lost out several positions there as a couple of drivers come through on him. But Tonari struggling with the new no assists tier. He is still quick though. You have to say he is like a duck in water, pun intended, with the weather that we've got at the moment. When it comes to racing, he's not doing too badly for his first season without assists.
He's going to sling it around past Speedy as well.
Yeah,
that was a very brave mood.
Missed that one, just caught the tail end of it there. But these guys are looking very racy in this weather. They know what they can do and are getting it done well. But I mean, the big surprise at the moment is Bailey Thompson, who is really eking out a big gap on Danico at the moment, who is struggling to cope with McKenda's pace as well. It could be that Bailey Thompson, if he gets the strategy right, could run away with this. He's got a lot of pace. Hoodham all over the back of Pemi once more. Is he going to try and get the move done? He's running out of ERS in the rain, believe it or not. That is very difficult to do. But he's boosting all the way down the straight, trying to get Pemi. Pemi defends the inside, makes him go the long way around again. Once more, we have them both going into turn 1, turn 2. There is not a lot of space. There's elbows out this time from Hoodham, and he manages to get it done this time. Got the elbow out right into Pemi's face. Made sure that he wasn't going to hold it up the inside that time. Great racing from the two of them. Lots of respect there. And RK Lawrence now looking all over the back of Pemi and looking to get any gap he can there, as he's Pemi is now having to let Hoodham go as he defends against RK Lawrence, who's looking very racy, you have to say. Maybe didn't have the qualifying that he wanted. But
Icewind and Wow are side by side as well as we speak. They're having a right good fight here as well. They're still fighting it out. Speedy picking up 3-second time penalty there as well now.
Yeah, Wow also with a time penalty as well, so maybe doesn't want to fight it too hard against Icewind. Icewind, though, is making short work of this queue in front of him, and Wow is not slow. Wow is definitely not slow. I mean, he got P2 at one stage in qualifying, showing the pace that he's got over one lap, but maybe struggling for race pace and traction here. Struggling to keep Icewind at bay. Hugo was once, as well, one of the top aliens in the tier, and is struggling down in P11, so a few of these top guys, it's not going their way.
And Lawrence finally making his way past Pemi there as well, now proceeds to chase down Hoodham and is making incredibly good ground as Pemi loses another spot to Desi now.
Yeah, short work of that one, down the main straight there for Daisy, makes it an easy move on Pemi, so Pemi maybe caught himself a bit higher up the field than he would have expected himself to be, and is now losing out to some of the quicker guys behind. But if he keeps his nose clean, and the guys in front of him end up with penalties or in an incident as they're trying to make moves through this crowd, he may still get positions back. So he needs to keep his head down, keep his cool.
Tell you what, there's some fantastic onboard footage of these guys like fighting with the conditions and at the same time trying to fight with each other as well. These cars look a right handful just now.
Yeah, I've got to say, the guys at the front as well, the top three guys, 1.2 seconds now the gap from Bailey to Danny. So when the rain stops, if the rain stops, He is going to have a sizable gap to contend with. McKenda is still all over the back of Danny and causing him problems. But the gap to Hudham in P4 is growing, and Lawrence is going to have to get Hudham sooner rather than later if he wants to close that gap up. This guy is rapid even in rainy conditions as well. We've seen him do it many times. But Hudham is no mean feat to get past, I'll be honest with you.
Icewind just making a move on Hugo there down the inside into the second to last corner. They're still side by side into the final corner. Icewind's on the outside of Hugo. Doesn't quite make it on this occasion, but he's going to try down the straight. Of course, both of them coming under pressure from WoW now as well.
All of them running out of battery with as well, I think, as they're all fighting, and WoW trying to get involved as well. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any space to make a move down the straight. No DRS makes it a lot more difficult to make a pass around this track, but Icewind maybe choosing to just...
Icewind's going to go around the outside of Hugo.
Oh, yes, he is. Bad exit for Hugo out of the first chicane, and Icewind smells blood, and he's going for it. Hugo goes wide and loses another 2 positions to the 2 guys behind him as well. Hugo losing out massively there. Absolutely brilliant racing from them all, but yeah, Hugo, mistake after mistake there, under too much pressure, loses out big time. Now Icewind with very little ERS to play with, and WoW has 87%. So maybe WoW is technically ahead of Icewind. Icewind gets a little bit of a snap there.
Icewind's going to have to be careful here as we see Loff and Speedy now going toe to toe in the chicane side by side.
Contact.
Speedy goes around a little bit, and this is going to let Tanari come up behind them as well.
Yeah, Tanari at the moment though, we've got nowhere to go. There's no space to get past. We cannot go too wide in a lot of places here, but they're still fighting it as Loff goes down the inside into Ravazza 1, and he's going to have a bad exit here as they're still struggling for traction, both of them. He's not going to have the best exit here, Loff, because you want to be on the outside for the best exit in that corner there, but it looks like Loff is boosting all he can, using everything he can to get the move done, and he does. Looks like
Icewind from out of nowhere just sends it down past Tanari. He's now right on the back of this pair as well.
Brilliant racing from these guys. Brilliant racing. Icewind down the inside now of Speedy. Icewind is taking no prisoners. This man is a man on a mission, and he is just not interested in any kind of, I'm just going to hang back and maybe play it safe and easy here. He is just, any opportunity he's got to make the move, he is sticking his nose in there and getting it done. And he's doing it fantastically, you've got to say. This is absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yeah, top 3 separated out now, top 4 have separated out now, and have spread out quite a bit. There's over a second and a half between them all. All the action seems to be taking place in the midfield today.
Certainly does, yeah. I mean, McKenda did get Danico in the end and has created a gap, so Danico struggling in wet conditions. Not for him by the looks of things. Bailey, 2-second gap out front. Absolutely fantastic drive from him so far. Really on it today. In his first race of the season. He was not here for Bahrain. I think he was on his holidays, slacking, as everybody seems to be fond of doing these days. But Icewind, man on a mission, Ocean Chief says, and it certainly seems that way. He's already on the back
and
of
Speedy
Loft.
and Tanari are going at it now as well.
Yeah, in the background.
There, and WoW still looking like he wants to get involved as well. Has that full battery and is using it. Comes on the left-hand side of Tanari now. Makes that move stick.
This is proving to be some great racing that we've got here. Because of that early contact in lap 1, it mixed up the grid even more than it was already mixed up from qualifying, which was already a pretty mixed bag as well. And some of these guys are showing us how it's done, essentially. This is how you navigate traffic, how you get past guys who are a little bit slower than you. Tanari's going for the inside.
He's had a bad exit, yep.
And yeah, inside into Tosa means you've got the inside into Piratella as well, and that is a very good place to have the inside 4, but it looks like a good exit for Speedy, and Tanari's backing out of it for the time being kind of thing. But Tanari and Meepo, these guys are very similar on pace so far this tier, and will be on for a fight. Oh, wide goes Speedy, going over the sausage curbs. I wonder if you get some damage. Papa has retired. He's done that in the pit, so I think maybe he's had enough because Bailey Thompson was about to lap him. So I'm wondering if he maybe had a spin too many and didn't fancy it anymore. But a few guys struggling with the wet conditions. few guys not really done any practice in the wet conditions on this game by the looks of things. Danico may be one of them. He's really, really struggling. 3 seconds now, the gap. Oh, Tenari gets a big slapper and almost goes flying into the wall, but manages to save it, but loses 2 positions as a result. Icewind all over the back of Loff now as well, looking to get a move done, but he's kind of come up against a roadblock now. He cannot get this move done. He maybe needs to save a bit of ERS before he can get this one, but he's all over the back of him now, going for the inside. No, he thinks better of it, doesn't want to send it down into Villeneuve chicane.
Tenari sends it down the inside of Hugo now as well, so the fight's still continuing further towards the back of the grid.
Lots of racing to be shown here as well. Hugo really struggled. This is his first race that I've seen him in this game, and he was one of the most unbelievable guys you've ever seen in 2020. And I didn't see much of him in 2021. I think he had exams and he didn't want to get the game was rubbish in 2021. Let's be fair. And he's really struggling with this one as well, comparison to his previous standards that he set. But Icewind all over the back of Loff at the moment. This guy is just on it today, absolutely on it. I think this is a man who really does not care anymore. He's been struggling with the pace in this game so far, and I think he's just kind of thrown care into the wind, and that is proving to be a winning strategy for him so far this race. He has been unbelievable.
Oh, and Danny Pitts.
Danny Pitts early. I wonder what that is for. I mean, that is very early. Maybe the intermediates, going for more intermediates. That is a strange call.
Oh, wets. Could it be wets? Surely not.
Surely not.
No, it's a fresh set of intermediates.
That
does seem very early though, as you say.
Danny, oh, Icewind is going to go send it. Nope, he's thought better of it. He looked at the inside there into turn 1, thought better of it. Loff at the moment under heavy pressure from Icewind, but keeping it together as it stands at the moment. I think Icewind is just trying to put the willies up him and try and get him to go offline and make a mistake, and it did not work out from there. But all over the back of him, putting the pressure on. And yeah, a bit of a strange call, that one from Danny Coe to Pitt. I'm wondering, Fox now on the full wets. Yeah, he's gone for the full wets as well. Don't know if we've got wing change for Danny, says Ocean Chief as well. So he's looking to get, maybe that's why he was falling off so much, because he had a bit of damage and could not keep up with the top 2 guys with it. Not sure if a pit at that moment in time was the call though, because these guys are going to pit for dries next, surely.
I think the rain's getting heavier. The more I look at it, it is really, really heavy rain. Wondering if Danny's made the right call to change onto a fresh set of intermediates.
Yeah, I mean, the intermediates cannot go to the end from that stage. I think it was Chanel Henke in Tier 3 in the full wet race whose tyres popped, even with a second set. So you cannot go the full race like you used to be able to. Tyre wear has been upped as well since the patch on Monday. So that could cause problems. Pemi's also into the pits as well, so I get the feeling some of these guys are going to go for another set of intermediates, maybe a set of wets.
Wets. Pemi's getting wets as well. Yeah, this is looking like it should be wets.
Oh, contact on Danny into the back of his icon. That may be more wing damage there for Danny Coe as well, as he just rammed into the back of his icon there. That's maybe caught him out how early he's braking, but still on Danny that one. That may be a penalty coming Danny's way, because that was heavy contact. It didn't cause too much of a problem for his icon, but you would expect Danny...
Oh, there's a spin! Oh, close. Icewind had a massive slide coming around the hairpin. That's going to allow Wow to get up the inside of him now.
Certainly is, yeah. I mean,
or is it? Oh, he manages to cover it off just.
Yeah, not a lot of places to make the move, and if you defend it and put the car in the right place, it's almost impossible to get a move done in that second sector. But yeah, big slapper for Icewind, and maybe that's the tyres saying to us that, yeah, they're not really going to last much longer. A lot of people coming in for the wets. Hugo and Pemi both on full wets now as well. Danny, the only one who's pitted so far in the wet conditions, who chose to go for intermediates as well.
Lawrence is very close to Hoodim this time on the start-finish straight. We might see a pass here. He's got plenty of ERS to do it. Hoodim's got half the amount that Lawrence does.
Danny Coe with a penalty as well. This is not doing his chances for a podium any good at all. I think this could be bad, spell very bad news for Danny Coe in this race, and that means good news. Speedy gets a 5-second penalty as well. A lot of penalties coming in. That's the second 5-second penalty I've seen for
ironically,
Speedy.
Speedy picking up the penalty for speeding. Although he does go for another set of intermediates, which is interesting. Meepo, on the other hand, does put wets on.
Yeah, a number of people are going for those wets. And at the moment, I cannot tell. I need you to keep an eye on that for me because I'm too busy trying to get the camera angles and things sorted. Tell us if the wets are quicker than the intermediates. I mean, if you can have a look at the race director for somebody who's done a couple of laps on the wets and compare those to fresh intermediates and see what kind of difference we're looking at, see who's made the right choice. But at the moment, the top 4 or 5 guys choosing not to come in. But it's still raining. It's raining heavily, and it does not look like it's letting up anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, Pemi's had a very slow outlet. Okay, none of the guys on wet so far have really done enough laps to have a good look at yet. Fox perhaps would be one to look at, but of course he's running somewhat behind the rest of the main pack currently.
He was the first one to go onto the wets, and I don't know who might be somebody who can compare to who's equal on pace. Maybe Hugo.
Well, we can compare Fox to Fox then. He the last few laps he was doing on intermediates around the 129, 128, somewhere around there, and his first proper lap on wets was a 130. So it could be that we're in that stage where it's difficult to tell whether softs or intermediate are the way to go, and it's kind of a bit of a 50-50 as to which one you pick.
So what kind of time are the top guys doing on the intermediates? McKenna, by the way, has caught up to the back of Bailey Thompson. 21 laps out of 32 to go. This race has flown by, and we are
Bailey's doing consistent 1 minute 27s, low to mid 1 minute 27s. We've got McKenna is about the same. So the top guy is doing about 1 minute 27s. Fox's quickest wet lap so far 1 minute 30. We've got Hugo and Pemi should have a few competitive laps in now, so we've got to look at them. Pemi on the wet tyre has managed a 127.5. Hugo, I'm going to imagine, is about the same. Yep, 127.5 again. So the times are literally the same.
So it may be that crossover point between the two tyres, and obviously the intermediates might be struggling for wear at the moment as well. But I mean, it doesn't look like Bailey or McKenna are even looking to come in at the moment. Neither of them want to give up this track position because it could mean the race as well. So these guys, interesting fight they've got, but I think McKenna is going to really struggle to get past Bailey at this stage. All these guys at the top, Daisy, Lawrence as well, are both struggling to get past Hoodham. When the pace is so tight, it's almost impossible to make a move. There's no DRS to help you past, and you need to save up a lot of battery to do it, essentially, and hope that the guy in front doesn't use any of his down that main straight. That's the only real place you can get it done, unless they make a mistake. And as we saw in Bahrain, these guys at the top don't tend to make many mistakes. Let's face it. Icewind also pitted while we were talking there. He's down now in the P11, but maybe has the advantage over the guys ahead of him with the undercut, because that's the other thing as well. If these guys ahead on the intermediates do end up pitting before the end of the race, the undercut might prove massive from all the guys who pit early.
It could well be, especially if you get a bit of clean air to pump in some quick, consistent lap times and you're not stuck in traffic. Of course, with you mentioning how difficult it is to pass in these conditions, the undercut might be the way to go if you can get into clean air.
Yeah. Things have settled down a wee bit, but we still have plenty of racing going on. We've got Speedy all over the back of Meepo with intermediate tyres as well. So we're about to see if the intermediates are indeed quicker than the wets, because these guys were similar positions on track, similar pace on track maybe, and it looks like Speedy once passed. Speedy very quick, and I think he uses the pad as well. So as the games go on as well, like a lot of people are saying that the pad struggles more and more with each iteration of the game.
Does look like intermediates could be the quicker tyre at the minute. We see Speedy, of course, all over the back of Meepo at the minute. Icewind has significantly closed the gap to Pemi as well, so yeah, maybe intermediates is the way to go then. Wow, it's getting incredibly close to the back of Loth as well, going down into the first corner there.
Yeah, and Wow and Icewind were literally on top of each other before Icewind decided to pit. So there's our marker for whether or not pitting was the opportune. There was the opportune moment to pit as well. Let's see if Icewind can get a move done on Pemi. He's boosting all the way down the main straight. It looks like he's Pemi's not going to give him the inside line though. It goes around the outside and he's got it all the way before they even get to the braking zone. So great move again from Icewind. This guy is overtake after overtake today. I'm tempted to give him driver of the day already, but obviously we'll remain to see what happens with the rest of the race. And I can guarantee you, even if I did give him driver of the day at the end of the race, if he came third, for example, he would still complain. So I don't deserve it. This guy deserves it. He was much quicker than me. Whether or not he overtook 12 people in the race or not, you'll find some reason to not want it. But like, wow, now all over the back of Andreas Loff. Andreas Loff, I have to say, I am very impressed with this guy's transition into Tier 1. He struggled a lot last season with incidents and problems, and this year, turning line off, he's been very fast, very consistent as well, which I think is the bigger amazement, really, is the consistency that this guy's had. Running in the points once more in Tier 1 here. He always had some pace last year in Tier 2, but it's this consistency that he's seemed to have developed without the line that I'm really, really impressed by.
Chief suggesting there as well that Icewind's made a good call for the intermediates. He thinks that the rest of the guys who haven't pitted are going to be very close to blowing up their tyres at the end of the race.
Yeah, he says
Lost
Loft are
tyres
at
apparently
46%. Yeah, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys, Essie was lap 6, so not sure these Inters can go to the end. We had a number of guys in Tier 3 with the full wet conditions had a similar time safety car, and they tried to go to the end on the tyres, and a couple of people's tyres popped. So it could be down to luck whether or not these guys at the front can get to the end on the tyres, or it could be down to their skill with the brake pedal as well, because obviously it's down to the driver how much wear you get. Lifting and coasting makes a difference. Not pushing too hard in the corners makes a difference, and not locking up, crucially, is a big factor in the tyre wear. So it's a lot easier to lock up in wet conditions as well. So these guys at the front will be wanting to take care of the tyres. Now, RK Lawrence is as close as he's ever been to the back of Hoodham as well. With 40% ERS, Hoodham's only got 30%. He is boosting. He's going to look to try and get the move down on the main straight. Is he going to be able to get it done? Hoodham is boosting as well. Looks like they've both made a mistake by boosting at this point, because it doesn't look as though Hoodham's... nope, Cody cannot get the move done. And now they have both used up all of their ERS. Maybe Lawrence needed to wait one more lap and allow Hoodham to use up all of his batteries so that he could charge his up. The tension builds, yeah, so if it starts to dry out in the end, the tyre wear will increase, Ocean Chief says as well. But at the same time, that also gives a pit stop to all of these guys on 19-lap-old intermediates. It gives their pit stop to a free pit stop to dries, if it dries out. But I mean, at the moment, the rain is still coming down quite heavily. But if it stops suddenly, I imagine the track will dry quite quick.
Of course, the tyre puncture in a dry condition can sometimes be manageable if you catch it. Of course, in these wet conditions, it's almost certainly a death sentence, as Schneider Henke unfortunately found out in the Tier 3 race this week, just literally yards from the finish line.
Didn't want to bring it up. Oh, Tenari has DNF'd, and he's done it on track. That is a yellow flag, and it's a full course safety car. Full course safety car.
We're going to see a busy pit lane then,
we
aren't we?
certainly are, and this could be music to all of these guys' ears. These guys were waiting. 5-second penalty for a severe collision.
Look at the last corner. Bailey and McKender have stopped on track. So's Hoodham.
That's Delta. That is the Delta, yeah. And Bailey stays out. That could be a big mistake. Bailey has stayed out.
Did we see that collision then? Sorry to cut you up though. Did we see that collision then? Was that as a result of the Delta then? Somebody braking there? There's carbon fibre lying on the track in the last corner.
I think so, yeah. The Delta can catch you out pretty quick, and if the Bailey stops suddenly...
It was McKender. McKender's having a wing change.
Yeah, he certainly hit the back of Bailey hard enough to maybe give Bailey some rear wing damage, as well as himself some front wing damage. A 5-second penalty for hitting somebody under the safety car is going to be huge for him as well. He could not have
Adesi's on softs. What?
That is not, it's way too early for softs.
No.
The rain's still coming down. That is a big mistake from Daisy. He's just gifted some points to some people. He's got to pit again. He surely cannot survive on those softs. They are not going to work.
That has to be a mistake, surely. He had the wrong, either the game maybe tripped up or he's had the wrong tyres set before coming into the pits. So
yeah, a number of guys coming in there for the enemies. But I tell you who's this is going to play brilliantly into the hands of is Icewind, who does not need to pit. He can stay out and gain some positions. Of course, the Delta is going to shaft him a little bit because he can't go full speed, but he's now right behind his teammate, who was in P2. Bailey Thompson choosing to go till the end on these old intermediates. Hoodham Lawrence also choosing to go to the end. Loft choosing to go to the end. His tyres were already 46% a couple of laps ago. There's only 4 laps to go though. Might these
everybody
guys...
everybody that changed onto the wet tyre has now used this opportunity to change back onto intermediates. Tipsy also in the chat there saying that the delta can be quite crazy, and I have to agree. When we the tier 3 race we had on Wednesday, we had a situation, I don't know if it was a VSC or a safety car, but we had a delta, and it was really strange. You'd be going at a steady pace and suddenly drop half a second into the red, and same kind of idea, everybody's slamming the brakes on. It's really odd this year.
Certainly is. It's something that is an annoyance. I understand why we have the safety car. It does add a bit of drama and things like that. But from a racer's perspective, the safety car is there in real life for safety reasons. And where in a virtual race here, there is no reason for safety. I can see VSC. Daisy comes back into the pits and goes for the immediate. I imagine the softs are just not working out for him. Very slippy conditions there.
So you have to give him credit though for managing to get around a lap cleanly in these conditions on a set of soft tyres.
Certainly, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, he's just cost himself points by the looks of things. He's dropped now down to P11 out of the points, and he might drop down to P12 with Meepo coming down that straight now as well. Tell you what, who really might gain big from this is Bailey. Like, if Bailey can get these intermediates till the end, and obviously the wear is going to be low under the safety car as well, he could have just won the race with that strategy call by staying out. I don't know if it was the right idea yet. It remains to be seen. But strategy proving to be huge here in Imola with the rainy conditions. And yeah, who knows? Maybe the rain's going to stop at some point soon as well. Maybe that's why Daisy went onto the softs, thinking, oh, it might stop before the end of the safety car. But obviously chose to go back in onto them as well. So who knows? Won't have the safety car in this lap. Fox is a long way off the back as Zyken has been lapped and is currently causing absolute havoc as a Mercedes goes inside him there. But I very much dislike 5-second penalty from Andres Locke, ignoring the yellow flag. And I think that is Zyken causing mayhem in the middle of the pack there, because he is right behind, I think that is Red Bull of RK Lawrence that he's behind. So yeah, Red Bull.
That's really strange. I would imagine if we'll have to look back at that. That's possibly a penalty that could maybe be removed. As you say, lap cars getting a little bit in the way of the leaders here. The top 4 have not pitted since the first safety car at the start of this race, so they're still running on intermediate tyres, which they put on lap 6.
That's 2 safety cars though that they may have been able to get those intermediates through, so maybe those tyres will get to the end, but it could be touch and go for all of those guys. So yeah, I mean, it's very frustrating as a spectator, and even more so as a racer, to have these glitches and annoyances ruin races, as they so often do with Codemasters. It's very annoying to see these kind of things, and it's safety cars have been the bane of my life since I started racing in F1 games, and I have crashed into a couple of them as well, just to prove how frustrating they can be. But yeah, even without those crashes, which were 100% my fault, it was never the safety car's fault, but I mean, that one in Russia definitely changed line at the last second. 100% will never change my mind on that safety car. It moved under braking, I swear. Definitely moved under braking at the exit of a corner.
It's funny, it's such a Marmite topic, the safety car, because I mean, somebody like myself, I'm consistently a mid to rear field runner, and
safety
I
car in
benefit
this lap
from them sometimes.
Yeah, I benefited from it massively in Bahrain as well. I've benefited from it before in the past, and obviously it is more realistic towards the racing side of things as well, as we're getting things backed up by Bailey now, and looking to hopefully get a good restart. I mean, this guy has proven to be very quick. Hoodham is now in P2, and maybe Hoodham doesn't have the pace to kind of match Bailey at the moment, kind of thing. Bailey really backing up in the final corner. When is he going to go? It looks like he has gone out of the final corner. Big slapper.
Completely sideways.
Yeah, but he managed to save it, but that means he might not have the best run down into turn 1, and maybe Hoodham is going to get him, but Hoodham is going to have RK Lawrence for company as well. Is anybody going to be able to make the dive here? Oh, it looks like
Hoodham's going to go around the outside of Bailey. The side-by-side into the first corner. He can't make it stick, but he's gone wide now. Lawrence has sent it down the inside.
double
Going for the
switchback there.
switchback here,
Yeah, he's gone for the double switchback. Got the inside now into Villeneuve chicane, but backs out of it. Doesn't want to cause too many problems early on in this restart. Just wants to bide his time. But Bailey is away, and Lawrence now all over the back of Hoodham is going to cause him major problems. Will these tyres last till the end, though? Oh, okay, Lawrence again up the inside now into Piscatella.
Desi was forced wide into the hairpin. He's lost a lot of positions now as he goes 3 wide up the hill with Meepo and Pemi, I believe that is.
Cody gets Hoodham in the meantime in a very unorthodox place, and now he's got his sights set on Bailey Thompson, who's now pulled away and created a gap now. The two Ferraris hopefully are going to work together and not fight each other too hard as well, as they are close together. But we've got a lovely little train here. Sorry to interrupt there. I had to get that... But what were you saying? Daisy made a mistake, lost a couple of positions, but it's currently in P10.
Yeah, definitely right to keep an eye on the action towards the front. But yeah, Desi ran the hairpin, running incredibly wide, and lost a couple of positions immediately as of course, nose-to-tail traffic was coming down the inside of him, so he couldn't get back in.
Yeah, sometimes if you've lost a line, then you've lost it, and it allows people, several people, to get through. It's like one of those moments where, in real life, where you let somebody out of a junction, and then everybody just goes, and you can't get. I just said one. I said one. Daisy
Lawrence
gets
has
speed.
managed to get by Hoodham as well.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, earlier. So, he managed to do that in sector 2, up into the left-hander after Tosa. So. A very unorthodox move, but it looks like Hoodham is struggling with the pace of these guys. But currently it's a Red Bull 1-2 and a Merc 3-4. And Ferrari's 6-7. Danico still up there in P5, but the penalties of the guys there are going to cost them to the Ferraris in the back.
He's going to go side by side with Wow up the hill now.
Oh, you do not want to go too wide in here. It looks like Wow is going to back out of it in the end, wisely, I would say. But
gives him the position, though, unfortunately. So Desi managing to get one of those places back that he lost in the hairpin on the previous lap.
I mean, that is the nature of Tier 1. Sometimes you've got to get the elbows out and be a bit of a bully. And if he's going to kind of make it go too wide in an area like that, sometimes you've got to say, well, if you want to go too wide, let's go too wide. Let's dance. But yeah, Lawrence all the way onto the back of Bailey Thompson now as well. Is he going to cost Bailey Thompson the win here?
Oh, Danny looking like he was going to come down the inside of Loft there as well. He was very close to making a move, but backs out of it. And McKenda's had a bit of a bad exit, which has allowed Icewind to get up next to him.
Yeah, Icewind.
Desi as well. Desi's going to draft his way through too at this rate.
Oh, the Ferraris have to work together to block him out. They have to do it. McKenda is going to cover the inside. Nope, yeah, they all go into single file for this corner. Big train of cars here. Very little space to make the move. If you get it wrong and you slock up or something like that, you're going to go flying into the guy who you weren't even fighting. So, but look at this train that we've got here from P3 all the way down to P14. We've got this, P13 I should say, a train of cars. And Lawrence all over the back of Bailey now, fighting him for the win. Lawrence does not take the gentlemanly approach when he's a reserve either. He will go for the win if he can. Bailey fighting it hard. Teammates here as well. You might say, I don't know if they're going to be in VC together. But imagine if they are. Bailey is screaming at Cody right now, saying, just give me the win, just let me win. Bit of his wiggle there from Cody, but he's managed to keep it straight and narrow. Doesn't go for the dive into Alta chicane. Bailey, high amount of pressure on Bailey right now for his first win of the season. But a fantastic drive from Bailey nonetheless. But the tyres, are they going to be able to cope with this amount of punishment? No dives there into the Rivazza either, as we follow on board with these two, as we are now onto the final
there's
lap.
A position change further back. Sorry to cut you up there. Danny sent it down the inside of Loft on the second to last lap, made it stick, and Icewind's managed to squeeze through as well.
Icewind has been unbelievable today, you have to say. He ended up at the back of the grid after an early pit stop, after a DC or something like that, and he's managed to fight his way back up to P5, and he's going to get P4 as well because of the penalty. McKenda, his teammate, who is generally been faster this year in the game, is currently stuck behind Loft there as well. Very opportunistic racing, and McKenda is side by side, and it's 3 wide into Villeneuve as they go. It looks like a Daisy looking to gain a position as well. Oh, what racing this is! It's go 3 wide into Tosa as well. McKenda giving no inch here, but going around the outside of Loft, and it looks like he's got the move done. McKenda elbows out. Great racing, great racing.
Icewind very, very close to Danny. There's a position change up at the front.
Danny up the inside of Hoodham as well, and Icewind as well. pushes his way through the back. He's using Danico as a battering ram. This is unbelievable in the last lap here, that these guys are still fighting for more and more positions, and it's a podium going to be for Icewind. If he keeps it together here, he's going to get Danny on the penalty. Lawrence can't get past Bailey. Bailey has been unbelievable this entire race as well, as he comes around the back to one. We are on the final lap. This is the final corner. As it looks like he was trying to send it up the inside there, Lawrence. Bailey gave him the space when he maybe shouldn't have, but didn't want to crash out, and wins the Imola Grand Prix. Bailey with a fantastic lap there, and Icewind gets a podium. Unbelievable racing. Daisy manages to get himself back up into P6 with a great final stint there as well. Danny drops down to P7 because of those penalties that he had, and he may be dropping out of the points as well because of that punt up the backside of Azaikin. What a race. I could not keep up with that at the end at all. My voice is about to go.
So good. So good.
Oh, I cannot get enough of commentating on Tier 1 this season. I am loving it. Absolutely loving it. Ice P3 driver of the day confirmed, says Ocean Chief. I have to say, I totally agree with that. This guy was absolutely on fire.
No-brainer, isn't it?
It is definitely. I mean, you have to say Bailey was unbelievable in his first race back as well, but he also gets the win as well. But he did so well to hold off RK Lawrence, one of the best aliens that we've ever seen in this tier. Who also had so many great drives as well. A Daisy, I don't know how a Daisy got back up into P6 after double pitting under the last safety car with only 5 laps to go. That guy did amazingly well to get back up to the hard paying points. I thought he was dead and buried. Honestly thought he was dead and buried.
So many penalties as well when you look at the final screen there from.
I know. I don't know what to say about that. I mean, the top 6 guys didn't have any penalties, so that proves how much saying penalty-free mattered, because all of those guys gained huge positions. Daisy probably got up to P6 simply because of the penalties as well. Huge.
Make sure you show the entire grid. Oh. Keep the admins happy, scroll to the bottom.
Firewind, Chief says. That's going to be his new name for the rest of the week. But yeah, that is, I mean, unbelievable. Icewind. Hoodham gets fastest lap as well. I don't know how he managed that, but he's
by quite a chunk
by
too.
Quite
4
a chunk,
tenths.
yeah, by 4 tenths or so. The top 2 guys all on 19s flat. So Hoodham, brilliant stuff for the fastest lap there, getting himself an extra point, and did really well to be racing with these guys. They just had that. I don't know if it was the pace. I mean, obviously Hoodham had the pace over 1 lap, but in the wheel-to-wheel action, when one guy got up his inside, he did not have the wherewithal to shut the door on the next guy. So. I mean, maybe he didn't want to because it would have caused issues as well. But into the interviews we go. I don't know if I can cope with interviews.
I'm exhausted.
I am exhausted as well. So we're going to bring our race winner in first of all. So Bailey, race win there. This is your first race of the season as well. And what a start. What a race. And that final lap battling all the way with Cody. Your bum must be going like a rabbit's nose.
Oh, it was intense. To say the least. It was I mean, it was my first race in SLR this season, and I got pole the win. I mean, it was a good race to say the least.
Certainly was. I mean, you weren't here for Bahrain. You were off on your holidays, I imagine. Is that the case?
I'm a reserve. I'm not even full time.
You're a reserve. You're not even a full timer. Get this man a full time list. Get this man a full time. Is that just because you haven't got the time all of the time, or is it?
I just think I chose him. I think some people got there before me.
I mean, I think some people need booted and you put in their place. I think we need to have words with the admins. This is not on. This is very unfair. First race in. I mean, that's a big result for you. I mean, we've seen you race plenty of times before in SLR, and you've always been fighting there or thereabouts, but you've never had that kind of pace before. Does this new games just suit your style, or what's going on here, do you think?
I mean, I haven't got as many hours on the game as other people. I think I only have like 35. But it's a fun game, especially since the recent patch. It's not a bad handler model. I think it suits me well. I just did a lot of practice, if I'm honest.
Great
I did the
stuff.
2S race on Tuesday as well, so that was like extra practice as well.
Yeah. How bad were your tyres coming the end of that race as well? Like, they must have been screaming.
I didn't check because I just found with Cody, but there must have been about 73, 74%.
Yeah, very, very close to puncture territory. But yeah, that battle with Cody at the end, you left him the space on the inside in the final corner where maybe you should have cut his nose off, knowing that it was Cody and he might have backed out of it. But you were too respectful, maybe. But you got the win in the end. But how tight a battle, how hard was that to fight with a guy like Cody?
Oh, it was difficult. I mean, I was in the call with him. I was talking to him, and he kept he kept saying, "Oh, he's gonna go for it, and don't underestimate what he can do, can and can't do." It was scary. I didn't really cover off the inside because I knew I was gonna break later. I had the outside, so I had the exit.
And
it was still though it was fun.
And in the end, you chose not to pit under that last safety car. What was your thinking there?
I think I would have just lost too much time. I think, me and Wakanda had a bit of an incident. I don't know if you saw.
Well, we caught something about it, yeah, because the big 5-second penalty came up for McKenna as well. He lost his front wing, so.
Under safety car, yeah. I think was that the Delta to blame for that then? Because we had that in the previous tiers as well. Delta would take everyone by surprise, and everybody's hard on the brake. Yeah,
I came round the final corner, and the safety car came out. So I was over by 5 seconds. So I slammed on the brakes, and Wakanda, he just couldn't react in time and hit me in the back. It's no one's fault really. It was just natural reactions, and yeah,
happens sometimes. It's part and parcel of racing. But we'll move on, carry on, and yeah, absolutely fantastic first race in. I shall certainly be bothering Chief all week to get you a seat, because I want to see you in that fight for the top places, because we've got a very, very competitive grid this year, and I want to see it even more competitive. But yeah, if you're up for a seat, I'll make it happen. I'll beat Chief into submission.
I mean, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll let you go. Enjoy your win, and have a good night.
Thanks. You too.
So, Icewind, driver of the day. You've got to say you cannot argue with it this time, because that was a phenomenal drive from you today. You had pace, you had overtake after overtake after overtake. You were opportunistic. It was unbelievable to watch you race today. Even you've got to be happy with this one, surely. A podium from the back after the first safety car.
Yeah, sure. Only minus side is that I kind of tapped my teammate to get past him there, but that's because Danny was lagging ahead of us, and McKender had to take avoiding action, and I tapped him, and I kind of got the position that way there at the end, and it's never happy to do it like that. But yeah, I was unbelievably triggered after the start, because I thought I really nailed quali, and I kind of doubt that I'll be in top 5 or whatever I was at the start there again in a while. So I was really happy with that. And then I don't even know what happened at the start. Like, somebody just flew straight into me. I went into the wall, lost my entire front wing, and I was like a minute down after lap 1, which was like unbelievably triggering. But
yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, certainly. But
yeah, actually, we missed the start. Weirdly enough, because there was so much chaos. I think there was a spin towards the back, which initially caught our attention, and then when we switched back to the front, there was just cars everywhere, carbon fiber everywhere, and people falling up and down the grid. It was madness. I mean, but yeah, as you say, difficult to pinpoint where that kicked off.
Yeah, I haven't watched my replay either. I was just sort of minding my own business on the inside there. I got a decent-ish start. Some people got a really good start ahead of me, but then I don't know, somebody just came flying to my side from the right-hand side, and then I flew into the wall, and I was without a front wing after turn 1, and I think there was somebody else like Copy and a few other guys involved in that as well. So I honestly don't know what happened. I'll have to check that again. So and then I think some of those overtakes that you saw today was just sort of angry determination, I guess, and just sort of pushing people to be a little uncomfortable. They made mistakes, and I just sort of went for it every time. Maybe even a little bit risky. I was wondering if some of that was a bit unfair or something, but I guess it worked out all right. So yeah. Third is absolutely insane, considering a week ago I was 16th. So.
I mean, at the beginning of this race, you were dead last after, I think you disconnected, or
Yeah.
maybe it was just the triggering of what was going on. I think you disconnected, but you were
But-
dead last at that point, and on the wrong tyre to be on at that stage as well. The rain came early
Yeah.
for you though, which helped you out massively. But yeah, from our perspective, we were watching a lot of your overtakes because you were a man on a mission. You were the man to see when as you were ploughing your way through the grid, and I didn't see many bad overtakes, or if any at all, kind of thing, where you did anything untowards. It was just very clean, very aggressive racing, I have to say, kind of thing, and it was great to see. And I'm hoping this kind of lights a fire under you for the rest of the season as well, because a P3 from there, maybe this is what you need to do. Maybe you need to kind of get yourself riled up for the races, get angry, and then
maybe,
things come to
maybe.
you. You race
Maybe.
angry. I think Vettel had that in his early career when he was racing for Red Bull and winning championships. Whenever he was angry, he caused absolute mayhem for everybody else, kind of thing. But it really worked out for him. But yeah, I have to say it was insane to watch because it was just move after move, and every time there was a gap, when at one point you were using Danico as a plough, you were just following him through the crowd, and it was
at the end, yeah.
it was unbelievable to watch. And obviously, Danico lost big time with the penalties, and he think he might even lose more because he may have tapped his icon. If it depends on whether his icon reports him or not. But yeah, I have to say that's got to give you some confidence going for the rest of the season, though. Like you say, kind of thing, P3, and I think you were good for that as well. You had the pace, you had the racecraft. I think you maybe premature after one race with Bahrain, kind of thing, to say that you weren't competitive here. I think you 100% are competitive after that showing.
Yeah, definitely. This was much better today, and I have to say I did put a lot of quali practice in and TT practice in for this, just to try and find the limit. It's maybe not quite there still, but race pace seemed definitely better this week, so very happy with that, of course. And once again, sorry to McKenna for that slight tap. It was kind of unlucky with Danny's car being like right cross for us for a moment there, but yeah.
It's not the way you want to get it done, but unfortunately, with the positions that you were all in, there was no way to give that position back, I'm afraid. So I think, like, if you tried to give that back, you both would have lost out big time. So
yeah, I was considering it, like, if he would have been behind me, I would have tried to give him the position on the line, but then I kind of got lucky, because Danny pushed his way through, who was it, Hudim, and then I kind of just tried to follow through, and it worked, so... Yeah.
Hudim Anloff, who'd have thought the Ferrari would demolish the Mercedes, but it's happening this season, I suppose. But yeah, it was absolutely terrific to watch. It's one to watch back for you, for certain. I'm sure you'll want to watch that one back because it was unbelievable, and you can make yourself a little highlight reel of some absolutely brilliant overtakes in there. I'll tell you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Anyway,
Thanks.
Drive of the day. 100% deserved as well. I'm going to let you go and we'll move on to the next interview. But yeah, congratulations on a great race. Any questions, Boosters?
No, I think that's you've covered pretty much everything. Yeah, just well done again. Congratulations on drive of the day. Definite no-brainer. There's no thought required in that. We kind of Kebab actually already mentioned it before the race was even over, and I have to say I have to agree it was a sterling performance, and yeah, for sure must have been a great confidence booster going into the rest of the season now.
Yeah, we'll see. It's not an easy track next, but I'll try.
Fingers crossed for you. Yeah, Miami is tricky. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a good one.
Yep. See ya.
Take care. So, who we're going to bring in next? We've got several people that I'm just going to yeet in because they're not in the interview channel. I'm just going to yeet one of them in anyway.
I did see Cody Lawrence was in the interview channel briefly until he spotted WoW jumping into one of the other channels and then proceeded to swap back out and start showing him something. So
I kind of want to go a different direction than Cody, simply because I interviewed him yesterday. I want to interview Hugo, to be honest, because this is his first one back, kind of thing. So let's see if we could just pull Hugo in. Pull Hugo in here. So sorry to interrupt your conversation there, Hugo, but this is your first race back and into SLR kind of thing, and it didn't go as we would expect. I mean, in 2020, you were unbelievable with the pace, and it just wasn't there for you today. You were struggling maybe in the midfield, and so can you talk us through that? What's going on with the game and the handling model? Are you struggling with it, or is it just lack of practice?
It's a bit of both, and lack of running, and also not really getting the hang of the game yet. Yeah. Then I had that lap 1 incident at the start, which didn't help. So
Any damage from that incident? Because obviously we saw mayhem in that first lap kind of thing. A lot of people got caught up in it, but did you have any damage for the rest of the race?
No.
So, but yeah, struggling with the new game. Then is it just time to kind of put in a few more hours? Do you think, or have you not got the time?
Yeah, probably, yeah. But yeah, I'm not got the same amount of time as I used to, so.
Gone are the days of Hugo the Alien topping championships. Do you think?
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah. Well, it hurts, doesn't it, when you've been there at the top and then suddenly you're in the midfield kind of thing. It hurts, and that kind of sometimes lights a fire up people's bums to put more time and practice in there, kind of thing. Do you think you've got that in your locker to get up there at the top of the fight, or is it a case of I don't really have the time to kind of to get at that level anymore?
I mean, I think I have the ability. I just need to get it together. So.
Get it together, certainly, yeah. But how did the race go for you in the end, kind of thing? We didn't catch much of you on track, kind of thing, but you certainly would have had some battles in there. Anything of note?
Just dropping down the order. I was struggling really a lot in the wet, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
wet conditions in this game seem a bit better, but the handling model itself, kind of thing, how do you feel as though it compares to obviously you weren't around for 2021. I mean, you must have hated 2021 as much as I did, because everybody did. But compared to 2020, it's not quite there as good as 2020 in my opinion. But how do you feel about the handling model so far? Is there any particular things that you like about it or dislike about it?
Since F1 2020, I've got a new wheel, so I can't really compare.
Oh, upgrades, eh?
Yeah.
Up to the Fanatec wheel kind of situation, are we now?
No, still a Thrustmaster.
Still a Thrustmaster. Which one have you gone for?
The TX.
The TX, not bad. But yeah. Well, hopefully we'll see better showing from you in Miami. Have you done much racing at Miami yet?
I'm probably not going to race Miami.
You're not going to
It's
race.
just like a one-off reserve racer.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to be able to get time for more races in the future then?
Yeah, for sure.
Good stuff. Well, looking forward to see you back in the grid and hopefully a bit further up as well, because I would love to see you in that battle, because the tier is tight in tier 1 this year. But I thought I'd bring you in for the interview anyway, because we haven't spoken to you in a long time. We've spoken to Mexico City fan a million times these days. So, but yeah, thanks for coming and thanks for your time. I'll drop you back in and you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye. So I think there we have it. I'm going to need to lie down after this. Unbelievable racing. I am very lucky to be doing the commentary for Tier 1 this season.
It's
absolutely loving it.
Unbelievably competitive grid. Loads and loads of big names in there. I think probably the tightest concentration of big names we've had in quite some time now. And lots of previous championship winners in there as well. It's just, yeah, really, really competitive and so close as well. I think we're blessed to have the guys that we have in Tier 1 this season.
Certainly are, yeah. I mean, and yeah, it is very competitive as well. We didn't even see much of Crystals, obviously, because he had issues today. Hopefully he can get those fixed as well, because he could be there or thereabouts. But it's juggling all over the place at the moment, kind of thing. We've got a new winner. Makenda didn't finish high on the rankings today either. RK Lawrence is a reserve, so he won't be gaining points. So it's still all to play for in terms of the championship as well. It's all going to be muddled up more. We'll get those results to you as quick as possible as well. But I can't wait for the next installment. I can't wait for the finale. It's just so good to watch. I can't keep up with it most of the time. But we will love you and leave you all there. Thank you, Damien and Lawson and everybody else, and Kiko who's turned up to support the stream. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I always just put my like in there at the end of the race. But a pleasure once again commentating with you, Boosted. It's always brilliant.
Yep, and you. It's a very chaotic race, difficult to cover all the action, so apologies if we've missed anything of particular note in there. But yeah, there's just action all the way up and down the field, as you say, very tight grid, and because it's so competitive and so tight, I think it's very much an open championship this season, and it really is anyone's championship to win at this stage.
It certainly is, yeah. It's hard to call. I mean, previous championships we could have got Danico, Jari, Hugo, they're going to run away with it, but there's just no telling who's going to win this one. It really could come down to any one incident or any one missed race. But yeah, looking forward to next Friday to do it all again, where we'll have Joel back in the seat, I hope. He will be back from his holidays, fingers crossed. If not, it'll probably be you again, I imagine, if you haven't got anything on. But yeah, looking forward to it. I can't wait. Cannot wait. But yeah, love to all, and we'll see you on Wednesday for Tier 3. Thank you very much for watching.